Today I'll be talking to you guys about a project that Eric Hummel and I, Ben Glace, will be developing over the next few months. We're going to be developing a first-person controlled stealth game where essentially you're going to be relying on your sound cues, your timing, pattern recognition, and distractions to make your way past the various bots throughout the different levels. The main idea behind this is that we're going to discourage any kind of reckless and loose gameplay wherein the player can essentially just alert all the guards and then try to run their way through a gauntlet. That's not going to be the case with this game. You will have a knife in this game where will be able to stealth kill the enemies, but doing this on every enemy will not be a viable tactic, as when they struggle it will actually create sound cues if there are other close by um, patrolling enemies. And right now, essentially what I'm going to talk to you about is the rough code of what I have as a default kind of patrolling state for the enemies, wherein they just kind of patrol left and right in a given confined area, and I have been working on the code for more specific coordinate-based patrolling, but that will be implemented once I actually swap everything over into 3D, as I just wanted to get the simplistic prototype down first with kind of an old passion project I built, and I'm using that as the basis of what we're going to eventually develop into a proper 3D game. So jumping into Visual Studio, you can see everything that I have commented out here is essentially me using raycast to detect whether the bot has become close enough to a wall or a trigger, essentially, where it will flip and turn around. And this is a very basic patrol where it's just moving left and right. Whereas in the 3D game, I will actually have this geared to go from point to point to point, so it can navigate itself through more complex shaped hallways and rooms, as opposed to just bouncing left and right, kind of like a ping pong ball. But as we go down, the main thing that we're going to be focusing on this code here, aside from the killing factors, because what we're actually going to be doing is tying that to weapons that the bots will have, is basically the bot is going to have a speed, and it is always going to be in movement when it's in its default patrolling rate. And once it hits another object with a tag of wall or enemy or player, so any of the colliders within the game, what will happen is it will change its speed to the opposite of what it was in order to kind of continue on its same route in the opposite direction. Then, of course, if hits the tag respawn, then it will be killed, and that comes from the projectile that I've given the player in this case. That will be changed up when we actually go to code the 3D version of this game. So then jumping into Unity now, what's going to happen is you can see that I did it off of an old passion project where I was recreating the original World 1-1 Mario with a few variations. I added the fire flower in there to show that I was working on some of the projectile programming as well, but that will be implemented more so on a weapon side of things with a much higher velocity when the bots are spawning you. Main idea is you wouldn't want to bring a knife to a gunfight, so why start one? And essentially, um, barring the sound design, you can just see that the bot is going to patrol left and right, and if he bumps into something, he changes his direction. It's a very simple patrolling state, as we were mainly just worried about getting the prototyping done now. So we'll be back with further updates. Thank you so much for your attention.